Everything's looking good here. Oh, yep. It looks like we got it. Looks like we got it. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the 520 Collective, live on YouTube, live on Twitter. Thank you for hanging out with us. Make sure you go to 520collective.com for all the latest and greatest. And shout out to our sponsor for this live stream, the Bookkeeper 24/7. Check them out at tbk247.com. Man, big up to Daryl and the team at the Bookkeeper, not only for supporting us, but for supporting Christian hip hop and indie artists. Man, they put in the work over there. So make sure y'all support them. Again, it is tbk247.com. And if you are watching this on YouTube, man, make sure you go ahead, jump into the chat, drop any comments, questions you may have in there for us. Same thing, man. If you're on Twitter, share it, retweet it, leave some comments below. We would greatly appreciate it. But I'm being joined tonight. Man, this is I think 3 times now that we've got to hang out, at least officially. Hung out a little bit behind the scenes as
Yeah,
well, which was fun. But Mr. Kelly Cole is back on 520 Collective. How you doing, sir?
I'm great, man. Thank you so much for having me, man. It's a pleasure. We family.
Yeah, man. Of course. Anytime you need whatever, we're here, man. We love it. We appreciate how you have, kind of embraced what we do here at the platform right from the beginning, man. So we're always, grateful and looking forward to the chance to talk to you. And you've got some really cool things happening in your world, man. I know everyone's always going to be asking because you're, uh, a lot of the main stuff you guys do, right, is you're constantly hitting the road. You're on tour. You're talking with, you're supporting Aaron and everything he's doing musically. Give us a quick update, man, on just what's happening on the music side of stuff before we dive into talking about this new book.
Yeah, for sure. So Aaron is, just completed his deal with Goatee Records and Toby Mac. We're currently in negotiation with several other labels, but he totally fulfilled this contract. No bad blood, no nothing. Just fulfilled this contract, and it was just time to move on. But love Goatee. We had a great time over there. That is still our family. Toby is still big bro. So man, everything is good. Other than that, in the studio, we're on tour with Torn Wells right now in Lakewood Music. But that's it, man. Just continuing to put in the work, continuing to, grind, which is how we get it, man.
Yeah, man. I know you said that you got some Midwest tour dates. I believe Chicago and
Yeah.
Milwaukee coming up. Where people stop in and catch the show.
Yeah, for sure. So this Thursday we're in Naperville, Illinois, Milwaukee on Friday, and then Sunday in Denver, Colorado. But you can check out all those dates. They're on iamaaroncole.com and also on torrenwells.com. You can check out all of the dates because we head to the Midwest. I mean, not the Midwest, the West Coast next. So we out there in Cali and all of that next. So
Oh,
some more
nice.
coming out. Yep.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's the perfect time of year to be doing that trip as well, right? Hopefully, all the snow and stuff is hopefully done out there and all
Yeah.
that. So, yeah, man, that's what's up. That's what's up. So, man, dude, it's not been that long since you've been on. You were on the podcast last season, so
Mhm.
and you came on and we talked about writing books, man. We talked about the company that you got up and running.
Yeah.
And now, man, you get to come back and you get to talk about this new book that you have that's getting ready to come out. It's not out yet, right?
Right.
So, but it's kind of covering your guys' story. Whenever I say you guys, I mean you and Aaron, right? So,
Right.
raising Aaron Cole, man. Let's talk about the book, man. I guess before we get, oh, there it is. Boom. There it is, man.
Yes,
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 sir. Yes,
yes.
sir. Um, So I guess my first question, because I thought back to that, conversation we had on the show, and you were like,
Mhm.
"Man, you can write a book in a weekend." You're like, "It ain't no big
Yeah.
deal." Um, so I
Mhm.
guess how long has the process been when it comes to this book, Raising Aaron Cole?
This book took about, I want to say, maybe a month or two. I could have got it done. Like I actually got the writing portion done, which I told you I don't really write, I record, but I recorded it in a weekend. Like I literally created my outline, recorded all of the chapters, had it transcribed within a weekend. But then I went through it and I wanted to make sure I added stuff that I missed or took out things that didn't really add to the story. But I actually did finish writing it in a weekend. Now it's with the editor and is getting ready to be finished up, man. But yeah, man, it took a weekend to record slash write it.
That's what's up, man. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy when you see, a title like Raising Aaron Cole and you think about, man, Aaron's still really just getting started in all of this.
Hmm.
Um, why was this the right time, man, to tell at least part one of this story? I feel like there's going to be more later
Hmm.
on.
Definitely, you definitely figured it out. This is just part one, man. It was time because right at the end of Thanksgiving weekend, I lost my mom, and I had been on her about finishing her cookbook, and she actually passed away before she was actually able to finish it. So I made a pact with myself that everything inside of me, every idea that I wrote down, that I'm going to make it happen. And at the beginning of this year, I said, okay, this year I'm going to actually do the book Raising Aaron Cole, and this could be volume one. I'm going to keep adding to it as his career grows and as we knock off things on our list of goals. But the story and how he, started and how he got to where he is now, it is a very powerful story. And there's a lot of things that a lot of people can learn from that part. So I felt that it was the perfect timing, especially because of where we are in his career. And then me not knowing, how much time I have left. So I rather put it all out and get things done. So it's one thing to talk about writing a book and having these ideas. I had to, practice what I preach and actually get it done.
Yeah, man. So you just, you talked about, you feel like there's a lot that people can walk away from this book with,
Yeah.
right? What are some of those topics or themes that run throughout the book that people are going to be able to really relate and connect with?
Yeah, man. The part about, truly finding your gift and your passion and the importance of a father seeing that in a child, you know what I'm saying, or seeing that in their children. So that, dedication, hard work, sacrifice, the favor of God, that's all throughout the book. Like different, pitfalls, spiritual warfare. So I touch on a little bit of everything. There's a chapter on the girl who was sent to destroy Aaron's career, and it was a spiritual attack. You know, I'm not gonna give away the whole story or the whole part about the book. You guys got to get the book to read that chapter. But there's
I say that's not a story I've heard before.
no, no. I mean, there's a lot of those stories like that that I did not, I put in the book that I had never talked about before. There was a period in Aaron's career where I told him I was no longer going to work with him, and it was tied to him, you know, continuing to mess with this young lady that I told him directly came from God. God showed me that this young lady was sent to destroy him, and he continued to mess with her. And I told him, hey, you can play with your life, but you can't play with mine. If you don't leave this young lady alone, I will no longer be a part of your career. I'll always love you and always be your father and always support you. But as far as like sacrificing my life and my business and everything that I want to do for you to ruin yours, I'm not going to be a part of that.
Yeah. So I know one thing that I think is really interesting that you're doing with the book is not only are you telling the story and telling about your guys' journey together as
Mhm.
father and son, right? And it's not just a look back at Aaron's career, right? You're actually diving into this topic of fatherhood, right?
For
And
sure.
sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, I haven't got a chance to read it yet, but
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see how you have balanced those two things against each other. Telling all the stories that the fans are going to be interested in, but also telling
Yeah.
the fatherhood side of it. Like, how did you approach doing that in this book?
Yeah. So it was. let me say this, like throughout the whole journey, it has always kind of been a blurred line. Like, okay, when do I need to put on my dad hat and when do I need to be the manager and the road manager and the business and all of that? So it was a fine line that, was drawn a lot of the times that I don't know that I always got it right. But with writing the book, I think it was important for me to share the perspective of, hey, I had no clue what I was doing. I just knew that it was important for me to sacrifice for my son in order for his dream to come true. So I think that's one thing that, oh, thank you, Holy Spirit. Like, what did Jesus say? Jesus said, I can only do what I see my Father do. And if, Jesus is the Son of God, what did Jesus do? He said, no greater love than one laid down his life for his friend. So I think fathers should sacrifice and lay down their lives for their children. So it wasn't hard for me to do so. As I talk about in the book, sometimes just like, we treat Jesus, I don't feel like I was treated correctly based on my sacrifice that I was given. I don't feel like all the time I received the honor that was owed me, because of all that I was doing. And I think sometimes Aaron took for granted that he had the type of father that he had. And it took until he got older to where he realized, like, he looked around and, friends began to tell him, like, people would walk up to us at a show and say, yo, you know how much money I would give to have my dad work in my merch table, or have my dad drive me to a show, or just have my dad in the crowd, have my dad doing all the things. So after hearing those types of stories and looking around, I think he began to understand and begin to hit home, like, yo, I really have something special in the father that I have. Shout out to, the only other father that I seen out there on the road like that is Jordan Felice's dad, which, we hit it off and shared stories. But yeah, it's very few dads out there actually on the road traveling city to city, with their son. So yeah.
Yeah, man. And I imagine that as you were writing this, you kind of talk about, I hear you talking about, maybe what it was like for Aaron, but I would have to imagine that as you're writing some of these different experiences out, that it had to hit you like, oh man, I didn't even realize what it was doing for me at that moment. I mean, can you remember anything specific in the process where you realize, oh, I wouldn't be where I am today without that right there?
Yeah, 100%. I think, one of the things was, and let me say this, I was so locked in though and so focused that a lot of things I really like are kind of like a blur. Like, I was just so focused on, hey, we got to get to the next city. This is what we got to do. When we get to that city, we'll check y'all into the hotel. Y'all relax, and then I'm gonna do my work, because my work was all on the internet. Publishing the books and all of that stuff. So I was so focused on the mission that a lot of times I didn't have time to be tired. I didn't have time to complain. I didn't have time to think about, maybe what I was missing or what I could be doing. I just know we had a mission and we had a goal. One of the things that, it did for me in this time was it increased my faith. You know what I mean? It increased my faith and then allowed me to get out of my comfort zone. I always grew up because, I never really had stability as far as a home life. I went from my mom's house to my dad's house, from my dad's house to my grandmother's house, from my grandmother's house back to my mom's house, from my mom's house to my dad's house. So I moved around a lot. So I never had that stability or security. So I always had this fear of being lost. So the thought of me traveling all over the country to different cities and different states and different places I'd never been before, that was huge for me. It got me completely out of my comfort zone. And then one time I told Aaron, I was like, I think he was like 16 or 17. And I was like, man, you've been more places, you know, in your 17 years on earth than I have in my 30s, because of all of the places we were able to travel and do ministry. So it took me out of my comfort zone. It grew me. It increased my faith. It increased my relationship with the Father. And so those types of things I'm grateful for. I remember our very first Dove Awards we went to. I was sitting in there and I believe it was Lecrae and Erica Campbell was rehearsing, and there was nobody else in the arena. Aaron had walked off to do something, and I sat down and I was talking to God, and I said, God, why us? I said, there's people who've been more faithful than we have. There's people who have spent more money than we have. There's people who have done more of what you told them to do. Why us? And he told me, son, just simply enjoy my favor. So I talk about that in the book. It's like, yo, I can give you a formula of everything we did, but what I can't give you is the favor that God gave us. And that's the difference maker.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love it. And one thing that I also love about you that I've been able to see in our interactions, right, is that not only are you experienced and you're approachable, but you're not just like gonna take what you've learned and hold it in, right? You give and you pour into other people. And I know that whenever I was looking at the book on the website, right? Which is, if you haven't seen it, it's on your screen, raisingaaroncole.com. You can go
Yeah,
check it out there. We'll talk about a little bit more about what's on there here in a minute. But one thing that jumped out at me is that you said that you offer practical advice
yeah,
for parents on how to support their child's dream, right?
yeah,
Um, and I think, like I said, whenever I look back and I think about our conversations in the past, you always do that so well and so easy to understand, right? Like whenever you gave us the example of how to
mhm,
write that book in a weekend, right? I
yeah,
mean, easy steps to follow. So it is very, as you said, practical. Um, just
yeah,
give us a little taste, man. Like what kind of advice
yeah.
are they going to find in this book as they go along that readers can put into practice themselves?
First of all, when I say, practical steps to, supporting your child's career, is like really paying attention, like be plugged into what it is that your child loves to do and what do they do most often? What do they talk about the most? And just pay attention to that. Aaron was 3 years old and I looked over, he was rapping, and I was like, man, this is not normal. Like 3 year olds don't rap. He was rapping my brother's gospel rap lyrics, and it was clear, and he knew all my brother's lyrics word for word. And I was like, man, this kid has something. Like this is something I've never seen before. And I said, hey, I'm gonna write him a song, and I wrote him his first song, Jesus is the Rock. And from that day, he's never put down the microphone. Not once have I ever had to make him, record. I've never made him do a show. I've never made him do anything in relation to music. He's always came to me and said, "Hey, Dad," I would come home from work at Walmart tired. He's like, "Dad, put on the beat. I want to rap." Every day. It was every single day. And hey, Dad, when am I gonna rap again at a church, or when I'm gonna rap again at a park? This was every single day. I never had to push him. I've never had to encourage him. I've never had to make him do anything. This was all what he wanted to do. And we did not go all in until he was in seventh grade. And he came home and he said, Dad, this is what I want to do with my life. Like I want to do Christian rap, Christian hip hop, and it was called gospel rap back then, for the rest of my life. This is what I want to do. And I was like, okay, son, if you're serious, I got you. And it was something about, I knew he was serious because, like I said, I followed the pattern. I paid attention to how he lived and how he walked. And it was the thing that he consistently wanted to do all the time that I never had to make him do. If you ever find yourself seeing your child not really putting forth their best effort and not really wanting to do something, that may not be their gift. Pay attention to what comes easy to them but harder to others, and the thing that they can't stop thinking about, the thing that they can't stop doing, the thing that they talk your head about, on and on and on. Like Aaron fell in love with music and he wanted to do it all the time, every day, all day. I talk about in the book is once he told me he wanted to do this with his life, that's when he went to Mr. Kelly Cole boot camp. He had to perform his 30-minute set, running the hill. He had to stand at the top of the hill, perform his 30-minute set, and he had to write me a song every single day. That was the boot camp.
Oh, wow. That's what's up, man. You know
Yeah,
it's serious, right? You know it's serious at that point.
for
I
sure. And I paid attention to my daughters too. Like my daughter, paying attention to her, she always wanted to be a teacher. Like she would line her dolls up and pretend like she was teaching a class. So I was like, man, she's going to be a teacher. And what is she now? She's going to be a professor. She's getting her master's in theology to be a professor, a college professor. So it's just paying attention to what it is that your child does. And most time they'll show you what their gift is, their passion. And you just support it by being there and listening and being attentive to what it is that they do need. And that's how you do it.
Yeah, man. So let's talk about the website. So it's raisingaaroncole.com.
Yep.
People go on there. Why do they need to be going on there right now if the book's not out yet?
Great question. Great question. And make sure you put the www in front of it. I got my web guy working on where you could just put in raisingaaroncole.com, but www.raisingaaroncole. The reason you want to go there now and pre-order is because you get the option to get the book bundle. Now, once the book is released, you won't have the opportunity to get the book bundle. It is only available throughout the pre-sales. Okay. The book bundle comes with the book Raising Aaron Cole, autographed copy. And you also get the workbook where I talk about those practical steps on supporting your child's career. You also get two video trainings. One is the affirmations of a father, the importance of a father affirming their child. I give you some affirmations to speak over your child, and I give you some prayers of blessings to speak over your child. And then one is peak mental performance, a video training on that. And it's kind of like how I programmed Aaron's brain to get the most out of what it is that he was doing, whether it was basketball, whether it was, getting ready to perform at a show or minister at a church. It's the practical tools that I taught him as far as that. And then the last bonus that I really love that's part of the bundle is I created something called Fatherhood Chats, right? And it is basically interviews with fathers of other superstars. So far, I just finished the interview with Tim Hardaway. If you don't know who Tim Hardaway is, former NBA player, and his son is in the NBA now, playing for the Dallas Mavericks. Tim Hardaway Jr. I also interviewed his. He goes by Big T, but his son is in the new movie Creed 3. He played the young Creed in Creed 3, but he's also a singer and a rapper, and he has all these different movies coming out. And then next up, I'll be interviewing Carlos Boozer, who his twin boys, one of them just won High School Player of the Year, and they're projected to, go to college and be a first round picks in the NBA. So those are the three that I have locked up right now, but there's so many more I'm going to be interviewing. And to get your hands on those, you have to purchase the book bundle because when the book releases, you won't have any opportunity to get those projects.
Man, Kel, you are taking it back to my
Mhm.
childhood right now, man. First, you get to talk about Tim Hardaway, Mr. Killer
Yep.
Crossover,
Yep.
right? And then I grew up a Duke fan, man, so I know Booze. Come on,
Boom. Yep.
golly, and he was, came around to play for the Bulls, man.
Yep.
I love it, man. So, but you're gonna line up some more interviews and add to it, then. So it's not just a here you go, this is what you get, and it's done. It sounds like it's gonna grow and evolve.
Correct. Yep. As I interview more fathers for that fatherhood chat, I'm going to be adding them to the bonuses as well. So once you invest in the book bundle, you're going to have access, and when I update it, you're going to get the update to the new interviews and all of that. And that will be the only way you get access is if you purchase the book bundle. But when the book releases, it releases Father's Day weekend. You will only have the opportunity to get the book from then on out. So you want to get the pre-order book bundle now because, and also another thing that I'm doing with the pre-sale from the book bundle, I'm going to be blessing fathers with a free steak dinner on Father's Day weekend. I'm going to be giving out free steak dinners to fathers with some of the proceeds from the pre-sale of the book bundle.
Oh, that's awesome. So they can pre-order the book now. How long do people have to get that pre-order in?
Pre-orders in June 1st. So you have until June 1st to pre-order the book bundle. After that, you will only be able to pre-order the book. And then when the book comes out Father's Day weekend, that's all you'll have access to is ordering the book.
Yeah, so make sure you go to raisinaaroncole.com, www.raisinaaroncole.com, and
Yeah,
get your pre-orders in. And I know, man, I mean, hopefully people are running and getting on there right now and checking it out, but maybe someone's like, well, I don't know, man. I probably don't have hundreds of dollars to drop on this book bundle, man. Like,
yeah.
what are we looking at to pre-order this amazing product here?
Yeah, the book bundle is valued at over $500, well over $500 for the value, but it's only $97. If you go ahead and pre-order the book bundle, only $97. Like I said, well over $500 in value. And then if you once you pre-order the book bundle, you're going to get an opportunity to take, a one-time offer. Now, one-time offer means it'll never be offered again. And in that, you get the opportunity to get the lost chapters. So there's about 6 or 7 chapters that did not make the book that I wanted to give people the opportunity to get their hands on as well. Then I also threw in there that one-time offer. You remember my Access Granted program?
Yep.
Yep, I throw that in there, and then I have a whole nother program called How to Win in Life. It's called How to Will, and it's the 3 things that I wish somebody would have told me by the time my 18th birthday of how I could have won in life, and it would have saved me, hundreds of thousands of dollars and made me millions. Had somebody would have shared this with me by 18.
That's awesome. Man,
Yep,
I can't believe you lost some chapters in the process of this, man, but I'm glad you found them.
that's it. That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
found
so yeah, man. No, that's exciting, man. With the workbook, I know you talked about that, having
them.
the workbook in the bundle. Like,
Mhm.
can you just talk a little bit about what that's like when people are reading the book and using the workbook at the same time as they're going through and
Sure.
reading this?
For sure. So we touched on it a little bit. I think the first section is, hey, how to discover your child's gift. Okay. And then it has a one of the first worksheets or exercises is, hey, you basically writing down what you see your child doing, and then you actually interviewing your child and getting a feel for what they enjoy doing, what did they enjoy most. Because what you'll discover is, one of the things I discovered about Aaron is at one time Aaron was playing football, but you know why he was playing football? He was playing football for me. He didn't really like football, didn't really want to play football. And I was like, son, you don't have to play football. Like, if you don't like it, but guess what? I had never asked him. I never asked him. I just thought
Mm.
he, from the progression, he wanted to play when he was Pee Wee and midgets and Parks and Rec. But the natural progression is you play in middle school, you play in high school. But by the time he got to middle school and high school, Aaron didn't want to play football no more. He was doing it for me. And I watched him one day out there and he got, knocked up in the air. And I could tell, I was like, man, he really don't want to be out there. So after the game, I was like, son, you don't have to play football if you don't want to play football. And he was like, I don't. And I was like, no. And I came to find out he didn't really like playing football anymore. He was just doing it for me. So interviewing your child and really figuring out what it is that they enjoy doing, so you have an idea of what you need to support. So if you find out your child love, art, you need to be, buying them, what is it, sketch pads and color pencils. And then you need to go a step further and figure out, hey, do they like sketch pads or would they prefer to paint? So you just need to figure out what it is that your child likes. So that workbook will help you discover what their gift is. And then I'll walk you through, okay, now what are the practical steps to put your child in position to be successful with that gift in life? If they choose to, because they may, enjoy something right now and then pivot. But guess what? The lessons and the principles apply no matter what it is that they shift to.
That's awesome, man. And guys, I'm telling you, if you go to raisinaaroncole.com, you'll see it on there. You don't have to just listen to Mr. Kelly Cole as to why you should check out this book. There's lots of testimonials. I mean, you're talking about guys like Joey Elwood, The
Yeah,
Truth, Doc Watson, Forgiven. I know we had that talk about Ricky being forgiven the last time, man.
yeah,
So that's awesome to see, man. So lots of great feedback for you guys. Make sure you check it out. And obviously, I know that you are focused on this book and getting to that Father's Day weekend and getting it out there.
Mhm.
But just give us a quick, uh, just kind of update on what's happening just with the book company in general, man. I know you guys
Yeah.
have been busy and we've been seeing a lot of really cool stuff coming from your end.
For sure. Yeah, man. So my company is called Publishing Advantage Group. We're still helping a lot of inspiring authors become best-selling authors and launch their speaking careers and just give birth to their books. And a couple years ago, I created a new division called Books for Athletes, where we're helping former professional athletes and college athletes and sports coaches become best-selling authors. Same thing to launch their speaking careers and transition from the field to the boardroom and speaking and launching their whole businesses with a book. So man, we're doing really great. I'm very proud of a lot of my authors. My most recent one, Scott Williams, played for the Bulls, went to University of North Carolina. He's having a book signing this coming Saturday at University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. So we'll be going to that. He's been on the bestsellers list for 3 weeks straight on Amazon. So he's doing great. So yeah, man, we're just helping a lot of people dreams come true, which is what I've discovered is my gift and my passion. I love helping people dreams come true. So that's what we're doing over here, man.
I believe it, man. I believe it 100%. Of course, like you said earlier, you guys are on tour with Aaron and Torrin Wells.
Yep.
Um, Man, Kelly, I mean, when the next book comes out, we gotta get back here and do this again. And honestly, the way you work, man, I wouldn't be surprised if you wrote a book while we were talking, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, we're excited for this to come out. I know it's gonna be something that fans of Christian hip hop are gonna
Yeah.
enjoy. You know, getting that kind of inside peek at the journey so far with Aaron.
Yep.
But it's for so many more people than that as well.
Definitely.
So
Definitely.
so yeah, man. So any final thoughts? Anything you want to leave the people with before we get up out of here today?
Yeah, I think, man, like you said, it's not just for Christian hip hop fans. Of course, if you're a fan of Aaron, you're a fan of Christian hip hop, you're gonna enjoy it because there's some stories about some of your favorite Christian hip hop artists, Christian artists, in those lost chapters. There's a whole chapter on Toby Mac and Joey Elwood. So that's what I would recommend you getting. There's a whole chapter about that. I talk about the day we get the call from Toby Mac and him interested in Aaron and what he told us. And it's a lot of things in there that people would enjoy. So yeah, so if you're a Christian hip hop fan, and then if you're a parent, if you're a father, if you're a dad, like you will enjoy the practical advice and a lot of the talks that I had between me and God in my prayer time and my quiet time that I was able to guide me along this path of raising this amazing son and my two daughters. So it's something for everybody in there. I know everybody says that, but this I feel like this book will really help people and give people a proper perspective on what it takes to sacrifice for your child and also what it is to not let one obstacle stop you from reaching a goal. So if I can leave you with anything, make up your mind and decide that one obstacle is not going to stop me from reaching any goal that I have.
Yeah. Hey, before we get out of here, I'm gonna put you on the spot, Kelly, because I
Mhm.
can't remember if you and I talked about this or not, but you have this firsthand experience that is invaluable to this discussion. So a while back, we did a couple of shows where we talked about like the Mount Rushmore of Christian rap, right?
Huh?
And I made the argument that Toby Mac needs to be on that Mount Rushmore. And I had
Yeah.
a lot of reasons, and it wasn't just because of his music. And actually, the music was kind of down on my list of reasons
Right.
why. What do you think, man? Toby Mac on the Christian rap Mount Rushmore?
100%. I don't think
100%.
one existed without Toby Mac. I don't think Christian hip hop is where it is without Toby Mac being the Godfather.
There it is, man. For all y'all that was telling me I was crazy,
No, and
go
like you
take that to the
said,
bank.
it's not just because of the music too. Like you said, the music
Yeah.
is at the bottom. It's just the doors that he opened for the genre. Period. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that there's no cross movement. There wasn't no Toby Mac. There's no truth. Like we can just go down the line. So Toby has to be on that Mount Rushmore. Christian hip hop.
Yeah, man. Again, guys, the book is Raising Aaron Cole. Go to www.raisingaaroncole.com to pre-order now. Comes out Father's Day weekend or right around then.
Mhm.
And again, shout out to our sponsor for this video, the Bookkeeper 24/7. Check them out at tbk247.com. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, join our Telegram for all the latest, and of course, go to www.FiveTwentyCollective.com. We'll be back here again soon, so make sure you tuned in, plugged in, and let's go.